Tiffany Haddish will go down regretting her choice at the New York Fashion Week.
Guys, hey guys, hey beautiful people, how you all doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Okay, so at this point now, it seems like the Hiltons, which is Paris Hilton's mom and Paris Hilton and her sister, I think they are laughing at Tiffany Haddish, not laughing with her. And this has gotten the entire internet talking with the ridiculous stunts that Tiffany Haddish decided to pull off New York Fashion Week. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, hold on, I'm gonna break everything down for you. So this week was New York Fashion Week and all the stars were there and all that. So Tiffany Haddish was in attendance and she was sitting next to the Hiltons. Paris Hilton, Kate Hilton, and I think Paris Hilton's sister, if I'm not mistaken. And Paris Hilton's mom decided, Kate Hilton decided to dare Tiffany Haddish to stand up and randomly to take a walk on the runway that the models are taking. And mind you, you guys know how this fashion show is, where they just sit down there and watch the models and the design just pass through. So now they are daring Tiffany Haddish to stand up and take the walk, even though she's not part of the cast that is supposed to do that. And this has really put a bitter taste in people's mouth, and people are really like, okay, Tiffany, you think these people really like you, okay, because they just want to make a mockery of you. But anyway, with that said, we're going to check out the video, okay, and then we'll come back and talk. Tiffany Haddish has been on the news recently for not so good reasons, but hey, we're going to talk about that. But let's go check out the video and then we'll come back and talk more.
Right now, you go down and you tell this photographer, love the place, do it now, right now, do it, wait, yes, now, there's nothing going on.
So that is the video that's gotten a lot of people talking. Let me know what you think about that video down in the comment section. Love to know what you think. So go ahead and share your thought. We're going to get into people's response. But why is this video giving me the I'm trying to be cool? Or, you know, like back then in high school when the mean girls would make the not so cool girls to do things and then they laugh at her. That's the vibe. Like that's the I got of it. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. So we're going to check people's stuff and then I'm going to come and share more of my thought. But I want to know what you think. So go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to, as always, know your thoughts, okay?
Tiffany Haddish is at New York Fashion Week, which, if you know, Tiffany had basically a very public cancellation for some previous actions and allegations and jokes she made. So this is kind of a big deal for her to be back. And she's sitting next to Nicky Rothschild, that name is important, Paris Hilton, and Nicky Hilton. Nicky Hilton tells Tiffany Haddish, well, first she asks, then she tells, and then she basically demands that Tiffany, sitting right here, get up and walk down the runway. And my first thought was, if the gag is so good, if the publicity will be so great, why don't you have one of your daughters do it?
Exactly.
Right? If this is so funny, why don't you get one of your girls? Why don't you get up and do it? It's because it's not funny, because it's disrespectful, because they know that there's a time and a place. And I believe both of the girls, both Nicky and Paris, have walked runways before. So they know how disruptive this is. But moreover than that, this is big for Tiffany because it's her kind of coming again inch by inch back into the public Hollywood face. And she walks in and she doesn't even look happy right here. She doesn't look like she thinks it's funny. She's just getting up and doing it. And the reason I'm even talking about this is because I feel like one of the biggest problems with Tiffany consistently is that she lacks decorum and confidence. And with that, obviously this video is not for Tiffany or anyone in her camp or anything like that. She's made her bed. She's going to lie in it. But it's so sad because there are so many other people who would love to be in the position that she's in and help to elevate people. And consistently, she's leaning into these caricatures and stereotypes of the past. And basically what I'm trying to say very politically correctly is this is a minstrel act. Whether she wants to be a part of it or not, she is actively playing a part. And where she could have said no, and I know that maybe you and I are thinking, okay, well, Nicky is a Rothschild, their hand is in everything, blah, 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 blah. Paris Hilton isn't having a comeback. Like, maybe she was looking at that thinking I could work with them later. Or, you know, Nicky Hilton, or not Nicky, I'm sorry. No, yeah, Nicky. Kathy Hilton is on the Real Housewives franchise, so maybe there could be a that obviously was not a conversation. There was no, like, back and forth, you do this and I'll talk. No. She just got up during an active fashion show, walked the red carpet, and when she got back to her seat, the models were still walking down, disrupting everything. And do you think that the Hiltons and Rothschilds are going to be talked about in this instance? No. No, they're not. And they're going to laugh and hee and ha at her expense, even though she helped to pay this way for herself, she being Tiffany Haddish. And it's going to look bad. I mean this so deeply. You have to have self-love, self-respect, self-restraint, self-control, and understanding, like discernment to know when you should do something, when you shouldn't, and when the people next to you are not good people for you.
Tiffany Haddish is famous because she profits off of the black woman stereotype. Loud, ghetto, obnoxious, extra. That's pretty much been every single role that she's ever had in any movie. But the reason that no-lip having ass Kathy told you to get up and walk around that room was because she did not think that somebody like you is supposed to be in the same spaces as people like her and her daughter. She thinks that people that look like you are only in spaces like that for entertainment purposes. She tried you and you let her. Because me personally, I would have said, well, if it's such an iconic moment, why won't you ask your own daughter to get up and do it? Because if it was so iconic, that would definitely have helped Paris Hilton out, right? Because, I mean, in the last 5 years, I haven't really seen Paris Hilton headlining for anything that anybody got out. So wouldn't that have helped her out? I went to school like Paris Hilton and her mother. They always trying to get you to try some shit that they would never do. She knew damn well that shit was going to be disrespectful and that it was not runway or fashion show etiquette. She also knew that you were the type of black person that is always feeling the need to be validated by your white counterpart. So she did what white people like her do. Paris Hilton has a racist past. I want y'all to know that. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. I say this all the time, but now y'all see it in real time. When I was watching that video, I did get secondhand embarrassment. But deep down, I also felt a little bit of sadness for Tiffany Haddish. Because you are not able to stand in your blackness and have that same respect that you give to white people to yourself. And that makes me really sad for you.
There's a lot to unpack from Tiffany Haddish's most recent stunt at New York Fashion Week. But my biggest personal takeaway is that representation, the right representation, will always matter. Because as it stands, Tiffany Haddish is the #1 pick for Hollywood when it comes to casting black female comedy lead. And not only are her jokes tired and divisive, but she is very muddy in her personal life as well. And when the main representation is okay with just being the butt of the joke, even at New York Fashion Week because the Hiltons said so, that's a problem. The only thing Tiffany Haddish consistently proves is that Marlon Wayans was correct. She is too much in the worst way. Wow. And that's why he never put her on. Black women already have a hard enough time just simply existing in this country as it stands. So when you have someone like Tiffany Haddish who's willing to make an ass of herself because some white women told her to do so because it was funny to them, it makes it a lot harder for the rest of us who are just trying to get through everyday life.
I want to talk about Tiffany Haddish and the Hiltons and her getting up on the runway. And I will preface this by saying, I guess I'll just give my biases. I don't like Tiffany Haddish. I don't really care about the Hiltons. So that's just that on that. When I watch that video, what I see is a grown woman making a grown woman decision to get up and make a fool of herself. That's what I see. I don't care if Kathy Hilton dared Tiffany Haddish to get up and do that thing. Because at the end of the day, she is a grown woman. Grown people need to be held accountable for their own actions. So if Tiffany Haddish decides to get up and make a fool of herself and walk on a runway that has nothing to do with her, Tiffany Haddish should really be the only one held accountable for that action. Just because someone dares you to do something doesn't mean that you do it. I don't even care that Kathy Hilton dared her to do it. I don't care that she egged her on to do it, because it's ridiculous that a grown person would take a dare seriously. A dare like that seriously. It's ridiculous to me. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't really want to see people trying to blame anyone else but the person who did the action, because that's just illogical, because we're talking about a grown woman who has complete autonomy over her actions, and she decided to do it, so that's who should be held accountable, if anyone really is holding her accountable. But like, if we're talking about who's to blame in the situation, the person to blame is only Tiffany Haddish. That is all.
Girl, tokens get spent. Tokens get spent. There's a part of me that wants to show her some grace, because it's like, I know she was not raised in the same environment as the Hiltons, because, you know, they were born and raised rich. They've gone to environments like this their whole lives, where she was raised very poor and foster care system. But I Googled it. This lady is 44 years old. You cannot tell me that she didn't know that this was very mean girl, the joke is on you, we're laughing at you, not with you type of thing. And it's very hard to like decipher why she would do that. She needs to come back and have her PR do like a very sincere apology to the fashion designer, the models, everybody that was employed there, because to just go to someone's job and like make a joke of, I don't know, but they were laughing at you, girl. And the fact that she even allowed that to happen to her, I'm just like in awe of why she would even agree to that. And the thing is, next year, she's not going to be invited to stuff like that anymore. But guess who will? The Hiltons. The Hiltons will be invited back. And I want to know what you got out of that, Tiffany Haddish. Now everybody's saying so many negative things about you. You're not going to be invited back next year. You're not going to be invited back to similar events next year. And I just want to know, like, what did you think you were going to gain from that by doing whatever the mean girls told you to? Like, it's very sad.
This is what happens when your confidence is low, when your moral ground or your standards are shaky, when you're not sure about, oh, this is what I stand on as far as business is concerned, as far as my brand is concerned, all of that. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And I am addressing the Tiffany Haddish and Kathy Hilton situation. Y'all, I do not give hot takes. And that's generally because everybody has an opinion, just like you know what. But this one right here, it kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. First of all, watch how you handle me. Like, for her to be able to even think that that was okay to talk to Tiffany Haddish like that is wild. Because had that been, I don't know, let me just pull a name out of the sky, Rihanna or Beyonce or whatever, she would never. But you know what? You have to ask yourself, what have I done that makes people believe that they can handle me like this? Girl, I'm literally plain old D, you know. I mean, and I would have given her a look like, okay, right after you. Because this is not the dog and pony show. And I don't know who you think I am, because it's clearly a thought. You form some type of opinion based on an intuition that you got. And because I don't know if they interact or what. But that whole go now, girl, who are you talking to? Because there is no check following that action. There's no check at the end of that runway that I'm going to pick up because I got up when you said to get up and go. That's what I'm saying, y'all, especially my women. But this goes for men also, because a lot of the frustration comes from when people treat you and handle you in a certain way. You got to ask yourself, what is it about me that makes you think that it's okay to approach me with that type of tone? And y'all, if you know me, you know I laugh, I joke, I play. Like, that's literally what my life is surrounded by, because I just feel like everything should be light. We have enough heaviness in the world right now. But when I saw that, y'all, I had to speak on it, because that is a direct reflection of self-worth, confidence, standards, boundaries. It is my lot in life, and I stand wholeheartedly on you have to teach people how to treat you. And if you feel like you don't have a handle on it, there's no time like the present for you to say, you know what, I'm doing a hard reset, a hard rebrand. Because if I would have even thought twice or flinched in that situation, I would have had to rethink my existence. Like, at that point, I would have had to reassess, because there's no way. There's no way. I don't care what amount of money you have, what amount of power you have, that you think you have. I govern me. I govern my body. I govern my mind. And when I get ready to move, it's going to be because that's something that I want to do. It's not going to be because you decided you wanted to see me dance today. Because that's the way I took it. And I don't even have to dig into this anymore for y'all to know exactly what I'm talking about.
I remember seeing Girls Trip and loving Tiffany Haddish and just seeing how far she went after that role and just everything that was to come for her. And then I started hearing about her background, seeing interviews, and what do we hear? Trauma. Complex trauma. The trauma that I work with people on almost every day. Having the limited information that I have on her background, but understanding that it is one of complex trauma, and seeing the way that she's gone through the relationship stuff and the DWIs and just some of this just outlandish behavior, it's making me think about something a little bit different. Like, no, do I think she's funny? No, I don't think she's funny. Does it seem like she tries too hard and all the things that I'm hearing people talk about? Absolutely, that could be the case. But I'm also wondering if she is self-sabotaging. I'm also wondering if she feels like she is good enough for the place that she's been put in. It certainly feels like she's trying really hard to destroy everything that has been given to her. But that's what trauma does. I know early on she had family separations. I believe she was in foster care. And so that can do a lot on a young girl's self-esteem, her self-worth, and who knows what type of messaging she's been carrying with her for all of those years. And now that she's here and her dreams are coming true and she's made it so big, I'm wondering if she thinks that she's supposed to have it. So these are just my thoughts, something to think about, something for you to think about as well when we talk about how complex trauma, you experience it throughout your life, right? And as you do different things, as you experience new experiences, trauma will show up in different ways for you. So as these examples come up, I just want to share them. But this is just another, maybe a different perspective to take a look at when we're talking about Tiffany. I wish her the best.
Tiffany Haddish will go down regretting her choice at the New York Fashion Week, the stunt that she did of walking the runway at a show that was not hers to walk. Not because she did it, but why she did it. And I just watched a video and there was a comment on it regarding this that was saying those Hilton women would have never done this to like Beyonce. And there's a reason for this. When you move into a new town,
the vultures, they can pick out the newcomer who needs them. Bullies and mean girls can like spot a pick-me from a mile away. And a pick-me is someone with low self-esteem. When you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. And that's what happened here. Tiffany Haddish did not have the self-esteem as you would have seen Beyonce in this moment, because first of all, the Hilton people would have never even attempted to ask Beyonce to do this, because they would have felt by her very presence, her very aura would have let the Hiltons know to never ask Beyonce to do this sort of stunt. So I want you to tap into the energy of Beyonce versus the energy of Tiffany Haddish in this moment, and how they victimized Tiffany because she was victimizable. She was a pick-me energy. She was leaning into them for approval. Beyonce would have never leaned into the Hiltons for approval. If anything, they would have leaned into Beyonce for Beyonce's approval. Feel how that feels. Like, kind of lean into what I'm saying here. And so if you tend to be someone who is easily victimized, lean into your inner Beyonce, your inner Lady Gaga, and feel how that feels so different than leaning into the like me, love me, I'll do anything to get you to like me, where like Lady Gaga and Beyonce don't have to do that. And find inside of yourself if that lives inside of you, and if that's why you're picking the wrong friends, the wrong career, the wrong experience, etc. Because that exudes from you. You might have the best hair, the best outfit, the best makeup, all of the things, but this energy that you carry around with you is bigger and louder than you are. And in the moment of Tiffany Haddish being victimized by bullies, she came in with a beautiful outfit. She looked stunning, but her energy preceded all of that. It jumped ahead of all of the beauty and success that she's had, because that is who she is inside. She is a victim inside of self. And they picked up on that. And so will everyone around you if you are a victim. And this is what people prey on. This is what, bosses prey on, friends, society preys on. They pick up that like a dog. And the Hiltons picked up on that in Tiffany like a dog. So recognize that in self. Are you walking around in your Beyonce energy, or are you walking around in your victim energy? Because that energy precedes everything that you have going on outside of self. So I hope that helps.
Woo! Like, I have so much to say about this, but please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts. Okay, so I like a lot of the things that was being said about it. But first, Tiffany Haddish has been really very problematic for the whole of this year, and a lot of things has come out about her, with being a pedo and all that. But that aside, let's really focus on this, because I feel like when it comes to the type of conversation, the type of community we're building here, we're trying to tell women to find who they are as a person and center themselves. And the truth is that this kind of reflects when they talk about the aura you carry in, the energy you bring, the energy you walk around with. You can act a certain way, you can do everything, but the aura you move with, the energy you move with, is like, it's so powerful that you can't even hide who you are on the inside. And if you are insecure, people can easily prey on you, and this can easily be a man, it can be the Hiltons, just in this case of Tiffany Haddish. They could easily prey on you and be able to identify and say, you know what, This one we can go for, this one we can work on, this one we can do whatever we like, and we can get away with it. And I'm going to address the Tiffany Haddish one before I come back and really go back into this aura and the energy we bring, because I feel like that's a very important conversation. What Tiffany Haddish did was just uncalled for, and you can clearly see, for me, like I said, it just gives that mean girl. I'm trying to belong, I'm trying to be accepted, I'm trying to be seen, but I'm trying for these people, these rich almighty people, to accept me and all that. It's almost giving like, oh, I worship the ground they walk on, so anything they tell me I will do. Even the way she was being talked to, like, do it now, now, now. Like, not what you even talk to any human being like that, but she allowed herself to be talked to like that. And that was really pure being disrespectful for Tiffany Haddish to even obstruct the entire work that has been done. And this is where professionally there's a time and place for everything. You just don't do things. And especially as a black woman, that's another time to go. Carry yourself with so much grace, so much respect for yourself, that you don't put, because naturally we're already the most disrespected group of people already in the world, and then you now start doing things like this, trying to be accepted. Give yourself so much respect for yourself that you're not going to do certain things that is going to bring more disrespect to you. Do I think Tiffany Haddish will still be invited to more New York Times? Definitely, she's going to be invited, because she's almost like an entertainment there for her to be there, because yeah, what is she going to do again? And that stereotype of black women, she, like the other lady said, she plays so much into it that it just gives me this idea like, nah. But yeah, let's come back to talking about how predators picks their prey. Okay, and this is just a clear definition. When you are, especially like the other lady, like I just love what everybody's saying, because I just feel like it tallies to everything I want to say. The other lady talking about how trauma shows. Like, one thing you guys know I talk about a lot here on this channel is talking about how as women we need to go do the work and heal our trauma, know who we are, and what we want out of our lives. And that plays out because when you've not done the work, when you've not healed, and healing is not, oh, it's a one-time journey. After that, healing is a progressive journey. Like, you keep going. I'm still in therapy, I'm still doing the work. In fact, I've not been in therapy for a couple of months, but I need to, okay? But you need to just keep the healing journey. It's a continuous journey that you need to, especially with the amount of trauma that we already have living with us and growing up and all that. It takes a lot. And that also reflects on how we handle ourselves and how we accept ourselves. When you've done the work to a large essence of that self-love, self-journey, self-centered, the way you move and the energy you bring is a different. And I'm going to say something, like, I'm not embarrassed to say this because I know it's going to help someone. And yes, I was that girl that if you dare me anything when I was much younger, I was going to do it. Like, everybody knows that if you want Destiny to do something, just dare her, she will do it. Yes, I was that girl. And that's because, and I'm saying it with my future, that's because I was working from a place of a lot of insecurity. I'm saying I was working in the place of where I wanted to be accepted by people so badly. I was coming from the place where I want people to not mess around with me because I feel like people mess around with me. I just wanted to prove a point to people rather than me proving the point to myself. I was proving the point to people, and I was that girl growing up. I was that little girl. Woof. When I saw that, I was just like, eesh. It was so cringy to watch, but I was that little girl. And this is where self-love and self-healing come. And a lot of times as women that has done the work, when you see like people say you are not approachable, a lot of people think that is a bad word when they say, oh, you're not approachable. No, that's because they know that the aura you carry, they know that not anything they can just pass and say and come to you. Okay, so you come off like not approachable, and that's where you push out a lot of those negative energy around from you, because you're not approachable. Not every Dick and Harry, not every Kate can come and be in your face or tell you what to do, like in this case of Tiffany Haddish. And as people, when we move around, people look at us, they read our energy, they read our aura to know if they can mess with us or if they should stay away with us. And this is why, as much as a lot of us, some people want to act it up, wants to act, oh, the boss, your energy doesn't lie. Your energy does not lie. Your aura does not lie. It will come through. And a lot of you guys will have probably noticed, even on YouTube, let's even use that first. Even on YouTube, when you're watching someone on YouTube, you could honestly feel the energy. And that is how big the energy is and the aura is. You can feel who the person is just from the energy, by just by seeing the person, the way the person talk, body gesture, and all that. And you can, on your own point, have your own idea of what this person was like, what this person will be like, and what and all that. So, ladies, do the work so that we don't have vultures like this trying to push us, trying to test us, trying to embarrass us, because these are acts that are just going to use to embarrass us. Because the Tiffany Haddish is showing off here on the New York Fashion Week as, oh, they're embarrassing her, but on a lot of women it's showing off in abusive relationship. And these men, they know that you will take that rubbish, you will take the bare minimum, you're not going anywhere, and you're just going to attract them with that aura. So yeah, that's to say, ladies, do the work, do the healing. A lot of time people don't want to believe that you have trauma, you need to work on yourself. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but it is really, because it boils down to affect a lot of things that happen in our life, even whether we want to accept it, in denial on it. A lot of the things that we do and how we react and how we navigate life boils down to our trauma, and how far we're able to identify that trauma and even work on that trauma to the journey of healing. So ladies, please do the work, heal your trauma, know who you are, what you want from life. Because when you heal, you're able to identify all that of who you are, what you are, and people like that will not mess with you. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts, okay? Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see and join in the conversation. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.